Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals, my name is Ruby, and welcome to a show I like to call Ruby Reads, where I find things all over the internet and I read them for your enjoyment. Today we'll be looking at r/am I the asshole. I will be reading these and then giving my own opinion on them, and, we'll see what I think and what you guys think. You can leave your opinions down in the comments below if you'd like. I would love to read them and be able to, see if we agree or disagree, and then we can talk about it. This is basically a sub where people will tell stories about what's happening in life and wondering if they're in the wrong for it, and people basically just tell them yes or no, and then they'll give their opinion on it as well. So I thought, why not just do it in a video form? Quick reminder, if you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike this video, still give it a like. It really helps out, and I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's get right to it. Am I the asshole for asking my I'm guessing that means mother-in-law, to get a hotel room after she insistently comments on my weight? My 31F partner, 31M, and I have been together for 10 years. My mother-in-law lives on the opposite side of the country, so we often FaceTime every week or two. She has not been to visit since the pandemic began, so finally she bought tickets to visit for 1.5 weeks and was planning to stay with us in our small apartment for that time. About a week before the visit, we did a video call. During this call, when we were all happily talking, she suddenly asked my name. "Have you been putting on weight?" She laughs. "Your face looks so round." I was really taken aback and tried to brush it off, thinking I must have misheard her or something. Still, it bothered me, and I kept thinking about it for a week before our arrival. I was angry because I now felt self-conscious and afraid of further criticism. Anyway, fast forward to the visit. She arrives, we take her home from the airport. She's looking me up and down and smiling. I felt self-conscious, but I thought she might just be happy to see us, so was abnormally smiley. I don't know what that means. We sit on the sofa, my husband, her, and I, and talk about random subjects. My husband hasn't seen her for almost 2 years, so it was nice that we could all talk. Not even an hour since her arrival, with all three of us on the sofa together, she says past me and to my husband, my name sure has put on a lot of weight, hasn't she? What? It's like, damn, your wife fat as fuck. Like, what? Hang on. Let's just keep reading. As though I wasn't even there. Instantly, I told her how rude she was and how unacceptable that was to comment on. Even more so as she was a guest in our home. What was she expecting? That we would just sit around and talk about how large I am, with me present, as though I'm some disembodied object? The next day, I tried to be as civil as I could, but I was so angry inside. I asked my husband to tell her to get a hotel and that he's welcome to visit her, but I'm not going to be treated poorly in my own house and she can't stay here. My husband is upset at me because he feels like he's being trapped in the middle, and I don't see why I should put up with these comments. Am I the asshole? Am I overreacting? Personally, I don't think you're overreacting at all. That's really messed up to do. You shouldn't really comment about somebody like that. You could think it, sure, but you shouldn't, say it in that kind of form and just think it's a joke. If you have something that you want to discuss with somebody like that, you should bring it up in a nice manner and just, talk about it, not just say it like that. This is just fucked up, personally. I don't think you're the ass at all. I don't think you should have to deal with that in your own house, and I don't think your husband should be upset at you. He should be on your side through it, because that's just messed up. There's no justification for what the mother-in-law did. She just said something stupid, and she's reaping the repercussions from what she did. It's her fault, and I don't think you're the asshole, personally. Am I the asshole for exposing my mom and sister? Okay, this is gonna be a good one. Okay, so I, F14, have a sister, F16, who I'll call S, constantly steals from me and messes up my things. Already, that is not a good habit, and she definitely needs to get that nipped in the bud immediately. I've tried talking to my parents about it, but they shrug it off and say that sisters do things like that. No, they don't. As someone who grew up with 2 sisters, they have never once tried to steal from me or anything like that. That is not a thing they do. That is something that you should not let your kids get away with. That is something that you need to take care of immediately, because it will just progress and get worse and worse. It's gotten so bad that I have to hide or move valuable items out of the house in fear that she'll break or steal them. You shouldn't have to. I'm gonna see my feelings to the end because I just keep speaking through it. Let's just get through this and then I'll give my thoughts. 3 weeks ago, I received money from my aunt and friend for my birthday. I was excited because I wanted AirPods for a while now, and I finally had enough money to get them. Why you wanted AirPods, I don't know. I kept the money in a box and put it in my drawer. About a week ago, I wanted to go to the gas station, so I went to get the money, but when I checked, it wasn't there. I went and asked my mom if she'd seen it, to which she replied yes. She told me that my sister went snooping in my room and wanted the money, and my mom didn't have the heart to say no, so she let her take it. I went to my sister's room and demanded she gives me my money back. She told me that she already spent it and that I should have hid it better if I didn't want it stolen. I was livid. I stormed my room and stayed there for the rest of the day. 2 days ago, while out shopping with my aunt, she asked me if I'd gotten the AirPods that I had been wanting. I told her no, and that mom allowed S to take the money I was going to use to buy it. My aunt was furious and called my mom, confronting her about it. My aunt berated my mom and said I could stay the night with her. When I got home to pack my things, Mom was furious and threw money at me asking if I was happy now that I made S feel bad. I ignored her, grabbed my things, and left. While at my aunt's place, I received many nasty texts from family members saying I was in the wrong. My dad told me that he didn't agree with what my mom and S did, but I didn't have to expose them to my aunt. I've been feeling extremely guilty and I've been wondering if I was in the wrong. So am I the asshole? No, you're not an asshole at all. That is completely justified and it's something that you should talk about, and you should have, honestly, I would have taken it further. At that point, I would have maybe even gone to the police and said theft or something. If you could prove it, that's something your sister really needs to fix, because it's going to get just so much worse later in life. If she can get away with something like this, she can get away with so much more, or at least try to. And that's a major issue of somebody growing up in life, especially at an impressionable age like 16. You're still a teenager, you're growing up, and you're still very impressionable from your surroundings and what you do and what you're allowed to get away with. Honestly, it seems like your mother is trying to play favorites and is trying just to make S happy without making you happy, which is not a motherly thing to do, and that's kind of shitty if you ask me. You're not an asshole at all, and your aunt, I would say, is a savior. Your father is kind of messed up as well because he didn't want to back you up with that. Exposing them was the right thing to do because you needed to tell somebody about how you're being mistreated like that. It's not acceptable at all, and you deserve better. Am I the asshole for not helping my sister to remove something that insults her? My sister cheated on her husband. Her husband is a restaurant owner. He has one of those quirky restaurants with funny food names. It's all one-liners. I'm not a fan of it because I find it embarrassing, but the food's good. Once the divorce went through, so it's an ex-husband, not husband. Okay, I don't know why he said husband, but once the divorce went through, he added a menu item along the lines of Sarah's cheating chicken ass. My sister's name is something super generic. I know 19 Sarahs. A friend sent Sarah the menu and she was outraged. She came to me to help her take it down. I'm not a lawyer and don't plan to be, but I've taken corporate law courses and have friends that are lawyers. But I don't want to help her. In my personal opinion, she deserves this and I don't want to get involved. The only ones that would know who this is about already know the story, so there's not really a case for defamation. There are too many Sarahs. The only thing we could do is send a cease and desist letter, but that's not legally binding and it's just a hassle. I told my sister so and she got mad at me and told her parents, who say that what her ex is doing is worse than what she did. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole at all either. The fact that your sister would do something so horrible to her husband at the time, after, committing that much into a relationship and then ruining it, no, she deserves everything that comes to her like that. I don't think you should take it down at all. And it's not defamation, it's not anything, only people that know. It's an if you know, you know situation. And if you don't, you don't. It's not going to be explained. It's something that helps him cope with it, and I think it's perfectly fine. I really don't see an issue with doing that. And I definitely don't think you should help your sister in this case, and I think your family's wrong for trying to back her up for it. I get that they want to back up their own family, but you have to look at it from a perspective of, did they really do something wrong? And if they did, they should accept the repercussions for their actions. And that is something she is not doing at all. Ooh, this one's a long one. Alright, let's do it. Am I the asshole for embarrassing my mother-in-law in front of the family? My mother-in-law, Barbara, is a conservative woman. She tends to be very critical of me, and she always finds flaws in me and is always trying to fix them. Her response to me dyeing my hair was that I committed a sin by changing God's chosen hair color for me. She once threw some of my linge? I don't know what that is, saying your son shouldn't see them because it's sinful. We were already married, by the way. During the engagement period, she made a weekly reminder of me to not get pregnant, or else she and her family will disown the baby and cut me off. Recently, she started making comments about how bad my face looks. She kept sending me boxes and boxes of this tea she recommended, since she's big on herbals and essential oils. Basically forcing me to try it, although I already told her that it makes my stomach hurt and causes me to throw up. Yesterday, I visited my in-laws alone for lunch since my husband Tommy had to work and couldn't come. Barbara examined my face from across the table while we were eating and was like, "Oh, looks like the tea finally yielded some pretty good results. Your face no longer looks pale and outworn like before." Everyone stopped eating and stared at me. I felt so embarrassed and quite shocked that she'd call my face that. I leaned back and told her no. Tommy's actually been helping me out with the de-stress every night in his own special way, wink wink. She must have figured out what I meant, and so did the others, because they started laughing and she literally widened her eyes in shock. She looked very offended but said nothing, just "excuse me," and walked out. Silence took over, but later, Barbara called me lashing out about the disrespectful and inappropriate things I said in front of the family. I said that I was letting her know that her tea did nothing and told her the reason why my face was blooming. She shamed me for talking about her son's intimacy and said that I was clearly taking advantage of him. I guaranteed that I wasn't taking advantage, but she kept berating me and wrapped up with a request for an apology after I offended her in front of the family. Don't know if I messed up here. Am I the asshole for my response? No, I wouldn't say you're the asshole there. I mean, you definitely could have sent a lot of better things. Especially when, you know, she's a conservative woman and everything like that, but I understand you wanted to get back at her for that, for everything that she's done. She has not treated you well, and it seems like she's really against you for some reason. I don't know if you have different views or anything like that. She definitely seems like she's not treating you well. Now, I don't know how your husband feels about this. I don't know if you're going to tell him or what, but I would say definitely tell him, and if he doesn't side with you, then it might be a rocky relationship to begin with. I don't know anything about, you know, your intimate life or anything like that, but as you guys are married, he should definitely take your side in things like this. So no, I don't really think you're an asshole, but you definitely could have handled it better in my opinion. Alrighty, this is the last one for today. Am I the asshole? I don't know why they put the H there. For kicking the kids out of my house. To start, they're not my kids, they're my ex-boyfriends. The girls are 13 and 11. I met their dad, Ken, 4 years ago online. At the time, I had just bought my first home. A pretty large home for one person in a gray area. Well, you must have a good job then. Good for you. On our first date, I told him that I had my own home. He was living with his sister on the couch. His kids were living with their great-grandparents. Their mother was in and out of jail for drugs and other things. I will admit, I felt sad about their situation and I really liked him, so after only 2 dates, he and the kids moved in. I never wanted kids, but I forced myself to take on a parenting role because he never did. I bought the kids clothes, cooked meals, and took them to school. Meanwhile, Ken quit his job to do his music. I don't know why it's in quotations, must have not liked it, but anyway. He took over my basement, something that I wanted to use as a gym, and made it his music studio. I paid for everything. I was living a life that I hated. The girls were not perfect either. They saw me as a maid and were heavily influenced by their classmates. In their previous neighborhood, they lived in a poor area and their school wasn't great. Once they moved in with me, they enrolled in a rich, quote-unquote, school, and told everyone that they were rich as well. Anyway, last month I came home early to see my boyfriend in my bed with some girl. I immediately kicked him out. I found out they have been together for almost a year and he's been buying her gifts with my money. I'm not sure where he went, but I called my friend and she and I packed up his stuff that I bought and threw it into the front yard. I called the girl's aunt and told her to pick them up because I was done with Ken. After explaining the situation, she said, well, the kids have to stay there, that's their home. I said no and that she could come collect them and their things. She refused. Ken also refused. He said that the home was their home and they have the right to live there. I let the girls sleep there and in the morning I called CPS saying that they were abandoned. I allowed the girls to take anything from their rooms, and when they left, I got the locks changed and told the guard in the community not to allow them in. Ken and his family are calling me an asshole since adult situations shouldn't affect kids. Some of the friends think I'm an asshole because the kids lost their way of life. I don't let the girls live their schools, friends, and the home, but I don't understand how I have to provide it for them. In 4 years, their dad has only brought in $20K, which he spent on God knows what. Ken is trying to sue me for child support even though I never had a legal responsibility. He did that so he could continue getting money from the government. Everyone is saying I should let the girls finish their school year at least, but I refused. Am I the asshole in this situation? That is a resounding no. Not at all. If he cheated and, you know, let it out, like, obviously he should have been kicked out. He was, that's good. I don't know if the girls should have gotten, like, involved with it, but obviously, you know, they're not your kids and they're not your responsibility. They're his and he should take care of them, and since the mom can't, he's the only one that can, besides, you know, other family. They can move back in with their grandparents or aunt or anything. They shouldn't have to stay with you because you only took him in because you took in Ken, or, you know, the ex-boyfriend now. And the fact that he was doing that for so long with your own money is just awful, and I'm really sorry to hear about that. You don't deserve that. And honestly, I hope everything gets sorted out. Now, with the whole him trying to sue you for child support and everything like that, that's not gonna go through at all. There's just no way. With given like how you took no responsibility legally or anything for the kids, and you were only there just to help them out because he was there as well. So honestly, fuck them. You know, it doesn't matter what goes on with them. It's their life now. You shouldn't have to be involved with their life after what their dad did. It's not their fault, but it's definitely the dad's fault, and they could blame him for it. They shouldn't have to blame you for anything, and it's definitely not your fault in my opinion. So no, I don't think you're the asshole. And that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. I hope you have a great day. I know you're beautiful, and I hope you enjoyed. Stay happy, healthy, and hydrated. If you like this video, give it a like. If you dislike this video, still give it a like anyway. Leave a comment down below if you think anybody was an asshole, or if you think I'm an asshole, or anything was wrong with the video. And if you liked anything in the video, you know, go ahead and say it too. Don't forget to subscribe, and, you know, you can come hang out anytime. That's it. I'll let you go, and I'll see you again soon. See you!